Well, hello there. Thanks a lot for clicking this video. My name is Strong K, and I'd like to welcome you to what is actually a new series that I'm gonna start, which is called How Does That Play Out? In which I want to do like fully fledged reviews of games actually, and you know, if you've watched my videos so far, you will have noticed that I kind of did this already. You know, if you take like the Deponia video that I did not so long ago, or like one of the very first videos that I did, the Julia video, those were actually like fully fledged reviews. I finished those games and then I talked like, you know, at length about the drawbacks and the advantages or whatever, like the pros and cons of those games basically. So I'm probably gonna probably start a new playlist, and I'm gonna include those videos also, though technically they're still first impressions videos. But you know, as to like, I don't want to change the title because I don't want to confuse people and so on and so forth. So this, yeah, the first official installment though of this series is going to be Cognition, an Erica Reed thriller, Part 2 or Episode 2, The Wise Monkey. You know, another point-and-click adventure. I've done actually a video on the first part, which was like a bona fide first impressions video. But this one I've already finished, so I want to talk about this, you know, in some detail actually. And to this effect, let us load a case here. Right, so there we are, and yeah, so we play as Erica Reed. One of the first issues I have with the game, I don't know if I noticed this in the first part, but it's the walking animation. That seems kind of odd. I mean, look at that, look at that. She looks like this robot from Honda, you know, it's like this white guy, the robot that falls down. Like, if you live on YouTube, you know what I mean, there's videos on there, like, you know, seeing it falls down some stairs. I don't know. You can actually see that this is noticeable when Erica Reed climbs stairs actually. This is when I first noticed. But you know, now that I know, it's kind of obvious. Okay, so we are in the FBI headquarters. This is basically the beginning of Act 2 of the episode. Just finished Act 1, so to speak. And yeah, the beginning is actually like a weaker part of the whole game really, because it starts exactly the way part number 1 ended, or it repeats the events, you know, that perspired in part 1. So it's like a seamless continuation of part number 1. So this is like the next day, the day after everything that happened in part 1. I don't want to spoil too much, because for those of you who have not played part 1, you know, I don't want to give away a lot of the things here. However, let me say that you should have played part 1 in order to play part 2. And I think the game also sort of, you know, takes that for granted that everybody is familiar with what happened. Because, yeah, let's take a look at the overhead map of Boston here and listen to the cool Blade Runner-esque music. And actually, let us head over to Kelsey's apartment. Kelsey
Gardner's apartment.
Right, Kelsey Gardner is the prime suspect in the new case, which I'm going to talk a little bit about now. Okay, so that's her apartment. Yeah, so let me just finish the thought here about the game. You know, sort of taking for granted that you've played the first part or finished it even. Because right in the beginning, let me look at this real quick.
It's got that roll right out of bed and into a cereal bowl kind of charm.
Yeah. So right at the beginning, you know, you have like a dialogue puzzle in which you have to like, you know, comment on the events that took place in the first part, which even for me was hard. You know, I finished it, but it was like several months ago actually. So, you know, that's like way back in the past here. Let's check out the mail.
Just an old empty envelope. It probably had some business mail in it.
Yeah, doesn't mean we can't pick it up, right?
Pick up anything that isn't nailed down, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, right, so it's not only that, it's like even, I got even some of the stuff wrong. And it doesn't even matter because, you know, this won't be relevant for case, or episode number 2, like this case, but, Also, like gameplay wise, you know, like all the neat mechanics that you learned about in the first part, like the psychic abilities, first and foremost. You know, there's no intro, like no tutorial for that, so you either know how this works or you don't. So again, I mean, this is not the hardest thing in the world to figure out, but at least it should be, I don't know. For those of you who have not played the first part, this is going to be, this is going to constitute a not a problem, but it's going to be difficult to get a hang on, because like in those crucial moments when you need to use the skills, you probably don't really know how it works, or because you can use your psychic skills in more than one way. Anyways, right. So let's actually take a look at the stuff here.
This setup must have put it back. This is seriously high-end stuff.
Exactly. So to give you like a quick, you know,
there's no disc to play.
Quick disc synopsis. What has perspired? So basically, you know, this is like the day after. It starts with the night, like the minute after episode 1, and then we are being brought in for like reporting to the new captain that we have, and our partner Sullivan is being abducted by the Wise Monkey Killer, which is the killer that he's investigating in. He's investigating currently. Wow, that was hard. Yeah, so we got another partner or FBI officer kidnapped, and it kind of feels a lot like part 1. You know, let's check out the posters real quick.
DJ Abhorrence spinning on Fridays at Jaunty Abyss. Into the Woods, spring 2010. Kelsey played Rapunzel. An Evening of Opera, March 2011. Names here along with Colleen's. May as well label this wall evidence A through C.
Right, so this is the those are all the victims of the Wise Monkey Killer, and the thing that the killer has is she cuts out the eyes, tongues, and cuts off the ears of you know, her victims. You know, if you know like the 3 wise monkeys, like hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, that's sort of like the thing, or like the idea behind this, I guess. You know, hence the name. And yeah, the Kelsey Gardner, the prime suspect in this case, is a former college student. She dropped out and actually went missing, I think 1 year ago. So you know, we don't know what's going on here. So I'm just gonna check out her apartment a little bit, like, you know, let the game progress. So to give you a feel, you know, how this plays and how this plays out actually.
We miss you so much, sweetheart. We just want to know you're safe. We wanted you to have a place to come back to from wherever it is you've gone. Please call us as soon as you can if you find this. Love always, Mom and Dad. Talk about depressing.
Yeah, right.
Fancy keyboard. Do all music students blow their money on these things?
Yeah, she was like a music major. I should have mentioned this, but it's not really. I mean, it's sort of off importance.
A place like this has central air? Didn't see that coming. This vent is missing a screw.
Huh, interesting. Alright, bathroom?
Her bathroom is pretty tiny, just like the rest of the place.
Okay. What's up with the bed?
Second-hand twin bed, second-hand chair, second-hand everything. This place is the most depressing dorm room knockoff I've ever seen.
Yeah, why would you say that? I don't know. What's up with the window here?
It's a basement apartment. Or garden level, in realtor speak.
Yeah. Oh, a dinosaur.
What's a cute little guy like you doing in a place like this?
I wonder. Okay, TV, anything there?
No cable box, but it does have a built-in VCR. Wow, this girl was old school.
Alright, so what else? Oh yeah, that's like, oh, the chair, maybe
That thing looks like it's about to pop a spring.
Okie doke. Yeah, so I think that's it, right? Let's take a look at the package here, because I think this is the most interesting item here in this apartment.
Who's sending her a package? She hasn't lived here in months. This is addressed to Sully. What the fuck?
This is crazy, dude. Good old Sully. Yeah, that's our partner, by the way, Sullivan. Yeah, this is actually also one of the issues that I have with the game. Not only is it like very like super duper similar, it's so similar that in the beginning I was kind of like, yeah, should I really play this, or you know, it's like I was actually hesitant to finish this. Like once I got the premise of the whole thing, and let's actually use our cognition skill here. I think it is. Is it cognition sphere? Okay. Let's see what we got to say about this.
I can't see anything. Damn it.
Damn it. All right, let's open this bad boy.
Screw it. I'm opening this.
Yeah.
thing.
What's that?
Puzzle box.
Puzzle box. Okay, yeah, at first I thought it's gonna be like a jigsaw puzzle in a box, but this is like one of those boxes that you have to open in like a very I don't know, unusual maybe way. I don't know. Let's take a
Who
look
would
at that.
send a puzzle box here and address it to Sully?
The killer, maybe. Dude, you're working for the FBI. I don't know. Can we use it with anything? Like the lockpick?
This is not going to work with it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry, I clicked the thing there. Obviously not. Let's open this guy.
Damn it, I hate these things. There's always some trick. But what is it?
What is it? Alright, yeah, we cannot open this right now. Let's use our cognition skill again.
I'll just see a dozen other people failing.
Okay. I
need to see it open successfully.
Oh, it's actually hard. That's actually hard to pull off. So right now, there's nothing we can do here. I think we have finished everything here so far. Let's take a look. Yeah, this is actually posters. Yeah, bathroom, dumpster, puzzle box here. Yep. Let's leave this dump, and let's head over to the to Dean Chapman, I think is his name. Off the music College of Music, Berkeley College of Music. That's where she went. Which is here, Berkeley College. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Berkeley College of Music is here.
Yeah, right. Okay, let's head over there. So yeah, it's like another item, or like another issue actually. It's like an item that is on my list, but it's an issue that I have with the game. Is that yeah, it's like, again, the premise, like, you know, your partner Sully is like, you know, has been abducted and is probably being tortured or whatever, at least held captive by the serial killer, Madman killer, or Madwoman killer, to be more precise. But
you must be Special Agent Reed.
I am. Thank you for agreeing to meet with me, Dean Chapman.
Of course. Now, how can I help you?
I need some information on a former student, Kelsey Gardner.
Kelsey Gardner. Oh yes, the missing girl. Has she been found?
Not exactly.
Oh, that's a shame. What can I do to help, Agent?
Yeah. So, you know, and then you would think that you would focus on, you know, solving this, or like trying to find him, like, you know, using all means necessary. But instead, you're on your own. You do like typical adventure, police, mystery, adventure stuff, like talk to people, gather evidence. That's not even the worst part. But you also like you stoop down. Oh, stoop down is maybe like a wrong word here, but you know, you go out of your way and talk to, like, you go to, it's like, visit the lady in the antique shop. You talk to this Cornelia girl at the grave of your brother, and it just feels weird because you know, you would actually think that you know, you'd set your priority and try to rescue your partner.
That thing's a mess. Paper sticking out, overstuffed drawers. It's like the university equivalent of shoving things under your bed. The drawers are labeled personnel, finances, coursework, and miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous, yeah. Let's touch the cello.
I can play a little piano, but I'd be embarrassing myself playing in front of him.
Yeah, it's more like he wouldn't even let you, right?
I can play a little piano, but I'd be embarrassed.
Yeah, okay.
I'd be more surprised if he didn't have a few of these in his office. Wow. Is that cello signed by Yo-Yo Ma? Damn. And a guitar signed by the Beatles? That had to set him back a lot.
Yeah. But he's the dean, man, of music at Berkeley College.
Isn't that one of those really swanky hotels in Dubai?
Dude, that guy is loaded, man. Alright, so yeah, let's talk to the dean real quick. See what he's got to say. This is going to be very dialogue heavy, so, but just to give you like an idea of how that plays out, because this is something that you actually have to do, you know, times and again. Not a lot, I would say.
Chapman?
Hello, Agent Reed.
But, you know, you go through dialogues, you know, for a substantial part of the game. So let's ask him about himself.
Tell me about yourself.
Well, I've been the Dean of Students at Berkeley for the last 5 years. Before that, I was a professor here. I taught in the strings department, as well as some composition courses.
How much interaction do you get with the students now?
Well, I make the effort to meet all of them at the very least. I still teach one course a semester as well, and of course a few students do their work study in the offices here.
How about Kelsey?
What can you tell me about Kelsey?
Not much, I'm afraid. I try to get to know every student, but with so many of them, it's hard to know some more than passingly. She was brought to my attention while the police investigated her disappearance.
Asking why she dropped out.
Yes, financial problems, a real shame. She lost her merit scholarship after 2 years. Her grades dropped, and then she dropped out during her junior year.
How about, why did she take out a student loan?
Why not try to get a student loan?
I'm not sure. I think she tried, but she wasn't able to get one.
His arm's a little off, right? I don't know.
Then what happened to her?
I'm not sure, I'm afraid.
Dude, you should see a doctor, man.
Why did she have so much trouble getting a loan?
Well, you'd have to talk to a creditor for those details, but it's always an unfortunate situation.
College doesn't come cheap.
No, it doesn't, but the college has costs to cover as well. No magic wand to wave, as it were.
What about her family? They couldn't pay?
Well, I don't know what her family's situation was.
What classes did Kelsey take?
Most of her classes were in performance and composition, specifically singing.
Did she ever take any classes with you?
Oh yeah, she took one of my composition classes.
So you must have known her from that.
Those classes are rather large, you must understand. Now that I think about it, I do remember her being in my class, though she wasn't the most involved student.
Okay. Yeah, the other victims were also students of the College of Music.
I'd also like to ask you about 2 other Berkeley students. They were recent murder victims.
Oh, yes, of course. Has progress been made in either of their cases?
We believe they were the victims of the same killer. Actually, I'm pursuing the possibility that Kelsey Gardner killed them both. I need to know if there was any connection beyond them all going to school here.
You really think she might have killed them? Kelsey? My God, I would have never thought.
You said you didn't know her very well.
Well, no, but I'd be shocked to hear that about any of our students. I'll help you however I can.
Something going on here.
Luke Jensen was a recent graduate. Do you know if he and Kelsey had any classes together, or if they were friends?
Well, I'll check our student records. No classes together. They didn't live in any of the same dorms. Oh, here we are. It looks like Kelsey was tutored by Luke in her freshman year in composition.
Were those one-on-one sessions?
Probably. Small group sessions at most.
How did she do in the class?
She got a B that semester, but in later composition courses, her grades fell. Her last grade in that subject was a D.
Sounds like the lessons didn't stick. Colleen Lavery was still a student here. What can you tell me about her?
A bright young woman, very talented singer. Her death was truly tragic, and what was done to her was just awful.
Any connection between her and Kelsey?
No classes together. The merit scholarship that Kelsey lost was awarded to Colleen the next year.
Would Kelsey have known this?
Well, it's possible. Some scholarships announce whom they've been awarded to.
How about her friends?
Did Kelsey have any friends I could talk to?
I don't know what her social circle was, but I could put you in touch with her old roommate.
I'd appreciate that.
Tomlin, could you please contact the former roommate of Kelsey Gardner? Agent Reed would like to speak with her.
Certainly, sir. I'll have her information ready for when Agent Reed is done.
Those are all the questions I have for now. Can you think of anything else I should know about Kelsey or either of the victims?
No, that's all I can think of.
If you think of anything, contact me. Thank you for your time, Dean Chapman.
Yes, of course. Good luck, Agent Reed.
Alright. So yeah, there's definitely more than the guy's letting on. Right, so this is just like to illustrate what that's like. Let's take some stationery here.
Office of the Dean of Students, Berklee College of Music. Official looking stuff.
Right, let's try to pick one up. Can we? Yeah, we can. Huh.
May I take a copy of this?
Well, do you need it for something?
Okay, so like the first time I played through this, I went with the truth. However, now I want to check out, and then you don't get it because you just say, no, I don't need it for anything specifically. And then, now I want to try the lie here.
I'm thinking of having some stationery of my own made. I'd like a sample of something nice to work from.
Go right ahead. My secretary can give you the name of our supplier.
Thanks.
How convenient. So it works. I'm gonna sip it on this cruiser, ice cold. It's after 10, so I'm allowed to do that. Okay, let's exit, because that is it, I think, for now. Refreshing. So, where to next? Let's check out Melissa's apartment. That's the old roommate. Right?
Kelsey's old roommate Melissa lives here.
Yeah, let's go there.
She's not home. I left my card and told her to text me when she's home.
How inconvenient. Right. So let's go to the morgue.
The morgue. And forensics is there now too.
Today. Okay, let's go there. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna like try to come to an end here because again, you know, I don't want to spoil too much off the game. You know, because actually you should play this, and the thing with adventure games, like point-and-click adventure games, or adventure games in general, is that, you know, obviously the bread and butter of this whole thing is the narrative, and it was like a major part at least, so giving that away sort of like defies the purpose of the whole thing.
It looks empty without the big guy around.
Right, so, yeah, it's like, the thing is that I mentioned that the game is like off to a slow start, right? One thing I should mention though is that the game sort of like in comparison to other games, like I've played a lot of point-and-click adventure games recently, you know, like the Deponia video.
AFK. Terrence must be working the crime scene at the Old South Meeting Hall.
Okay. Yeah, so this is like for a point-and-click adventure, like from a technical standpoint, this plays sort of like clumsily or like a little bit heavy-handedly, if you know what I mean. Like it's not bad per se, but you know, like the running animation is, or the walking animation is sort of weird. But also like if you want to, you know, trigger running, that's kind of hard. You know, I mean, it's not like locations where you extensively have to run, but at least
something about a bright red fire alarm always makes it look so tempting.
You know, it could be like activated easier, that's all I'm saying, because sometimes if you double click, you know, that doesn't happen. Also, the game happens to freeze. That actually happened twice to me, that the game just froze and I had to restart. And you know, with games like Deponia, it's like auto-saved whenever you enter a new screen. That's very convenient, you know, because then, and I hadn't saved, because this game is actually plays pretty fluently, you know, at least for the most part. So let's not go down there, because that's going to start a lengthy conversation, and I don't want to, you know, waste any more time doing that. Let's actually go someplace else. Yeah, so that is kind of, you know, it's just like, or the way that the inventory works, it's kind of, yeah, kind of old-fashioned, really. I mean, that's actually something that those Daedalic adventures are good at.
Rose's shop. The things John gets me into.
Oh, good old John. Okay, the antique shop here. I think there's also,
Good
yeah,
morning.
the dialogue.
Not much good about it.
Oh, indeed. Dear, you look a mess. What happened? Come tell me about it.
And now I'm trying to find Sully before something worse happens.
That's quite a terrible thing. I'm so sorry for your loss, my dear. And if I can help you find your young man, don't you hesitate to say.
Thanks, Rose. I'm not planning to turn down any help on this one.
Angry fist shaking. Right, so, yeah, that's the thing. So, you know, for example, like, the sofa here.
That's an odd place for a sofa. But, then again, this whole place is odd.
Right. So, you know, like, if you want to use stuff with it, oh, we can't. Like, is there anything that we can use? Ouija boards. Lamp. Crystal ball. How about Rose?
Those two don't work together.
Okay, so, you know, say I wanted to use something else. Like, the whole inventory is basically, you know, like a little, I don't know, like, for example, we got the bell charm.
This is not going to work with this.
Well, that actually is not that bad, but, for example, if you, you know, then want to look at stuff, you have the bell charm. It's like, oh no, I want to look at it, for example. Right, and then, so it's like, you know, you have to click the eye icon, then click on the stuff.
A silver charm shaped like a bell.
Right, and then you want to combine items, you have to click the plus, then click the, I don't know, tape recorder and the cell phone.
That won't work there.
It's a little, like, compared to the other stuff where you can just, like, go in there and drag and drop the stuff, it's a little heavy-handed. And, you know, it's not really an issue where I would say this is something that, you know, should make you reconsider, you know, a possible purchase of the game. But you can feel it specifically in the later part of the second act, where the things kind of get like, you know, the game starts to, like, or has problems like tying up its loose ends concerning just part number 2, the Wise Monkey Killer. You know, it shows that, you know, if you're then like sort of clueless, like walk around, you're not exactly sure what is that you have to do. Although I have to say that the game always is fair in that regard. Let's check out.
John used to sit here, Rose said.
Right, and so that's kind of, you know, it shows then, because then you want to visit like all the locations again, do like try out different stuff to see, you know, what actually helps you progress or make progress in the game. So yeah, but you know, that being said, the second act is actually pretty cool, as is the third one. The second one plays actually a lot like a you know, like a detective murder mystery adventure. You know, there's lots of them out there, which is a nice thing. You know, it definitely makes up for the sort of weird first part. You know, like the premise. This is what I'm talking about. Like, you know, your partner's missing and you're in this antique shop telling Rose about it. It feels kind of weird. Yeah, but puzzle-wise, it's okay. I mean, it suffers from, like, I think 1 or 2 instances of, you know, what I'd like to call, like, delayed usability, if that makes any sense, you know? So there's, like, items that, they're there, but, you know, you can't pick them up or do anything with them, so you forget about them. And then later you will need them, so later they're pick-upable, you know, this kind of stuff. That really, you know, games should have learned from, like, the old LucasArts adventures, really. Sort of, you know, if you are able to pick it up at some point, like, you know, let that be, or have the player pick it up instantly, because otherwise they will forget, and this is just very frustrating.
Look at how old those things are.
Right. Also, one thing is like specific applicability, and what I mean by that is like, you know, you have an item like that you need to use in like a certain way, and you can only use this specific items, although other items would also be like, you know, would also like pose a feasible solution to the problem. Like an example would be, you know, if you need like water from a pond or a river or whatever, there are no ponds or rivers in here, so this is like just a random example. And then you need a, I don't know, like a glass or like a jug to pick it up, but you also have a bowl, like a, I don't know, soup bowl, whatever, or a bucket in your inventory, and you can't do it with that. It's just like, no, you need, this does not work, and then you need to get like a glass to sort of get the water or whatever, you know. where it would make perfect sense to also use another container, sort of like that. You know, this is also something that this game has, I think, in like 1 or 2 instances here, towards the end of the second act, that is. Like, and then the third act is actually very, 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 you know, combination puzzle, like there are like of combinatory puzzles there, heavy, sort of like feels like it wants to make up for the second part, which is sort of like, you know, a lot about like visiting stuff, like talking to people, picking up, collecting evidence, and then, you know, every once in a while using your mental abilities and solving puzzles. So then it's like very like straight up, you know, changes the pace of the game, but I like it. What I also like is the way that this game sort of integrates all this and like certain like game mechanisms into like the story. It's very seamless. It works pretty well. It's like interwoven in a nice fashion. Yeah, the story is okay. Like they have to look out, I think, for the. Can we pick up the Ouija?
Looks like Rose put out a stack of Ouija boards. Well, I can now admit there are some supernatural things in the world. I still refuse to believe that Parker Brothers has harnessed the spirits of the dead and packaged them in a game board for mass production.
Right. Is there anything that we can look at with our cognition skill? No. Yeah, I don't want to talk to Rose here really, because that's just gonna. Let's see where else we can go. Actually, should we? Yeah, so like the whole story, it's okay. Like it's a lot like the first part, and you know, this is like a tetralogy. I think this is basically everything, right? We can head back to the FBI and snoop around there. So what the I think the game should really, because again, it's like
the FBI.
Sorry. Again, it's like very, very, very similar. In that, you know, you have a case, and then there's a meta level to it, and then there's like another meta level. For those of you who've played the first part, you know what I'm talking about. And that's kind of weird, really. I don't know where they're going with this. They might actually, you might see already, like, you know, certain, although I dread to say the word, but certain plot holes being dug here for, like, you know, the finale of the whole thing. But, you know, that's just the way it is. I mean, you know, some things make sense, especially if you play the first part, but you know, as I said, they have just 2 more episodes to like tie up everything, and I just wonder if they're able to do that. I mean, you can clearly see like Jane Jensen's handwriting all over this. She's a story consultant with the game, and specifically the antique shop, you know. Let's head back there actually. Specifically the antique shop reminds me a lot of the Gabriel Knight, like especially Gabriel Knight 1, like Sins of the Fathers. You know, it's just very reminiscent. I don't know, it has this feel, although it's not in Boston, it's New Orleans, but you know, who cares? Like this whole environment here, it looks very much like that. All right. So yeah, again, like I would recommend this game. The thing is, it's a little bit on the expensive side. Like, you know, the asking price is still $29.99 for the 4 parts. For those of you lucky enough to you know, have checked out the Indie Game Stand a couple of weeks ago or a couple of days ago, the first part was on sale for as low as I think $1 or like 29 cents or whatever it is, like super cheap. So then you can actually, if you have like somehow obtained the first part, maybe that way, you can buy like an upgrade. So get the whole series for $19.99. So that's like roughly $20 for so $5 each. That's okay. It's still a lot when it comes to indie games, I would say, but you know, the game does a lot of stuff right. So if you're interested in point-and-click adventures, specifically if you're you know, if you like this setup, like, you know, the female protagonist that has to overcome obstacles that are placed in her way, like in the private world or in the professional world or whatever. You know, you'll see what I mean once you get to talk to Cornelia a second time. This becomes very obvious. So sort of also like, you know, as a target audience. Although I like the game still for its merits. So yeah, I mean, I bought the whole season pass anyway. So you know, I just they're just gonna keep him coming for me. Yeah, I sort of recommend this though because it's very good. Like the narrative is okay, the story is a little bit confusing, but the way it is conveyed is good. Puzzles are okay. Each episode sort of like looks out for you. It wants to make up for like a possible lack of puzzles. It's interesting, like in the end, I mean, it's interesting the way they mix up things. So yeah, it's still a recommendation for me. Although it's slightly more on the expensive side. You know, be well aware of that. If you're sort of skimpy, if you don't want to pay a lot for your indie games, then you know, I don't know, maybe wait until the whole thing is out and then eventually they're gonna sell it in a bundle or, you know, mark it down. I don't know. Okay, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope now you're able to make an informed decision whether or not to pick up the whole series maybe, or just continue with the thing if you just bought the first episode. In any case, I'd like to thank you for watching this. You know, always happy for comments, critique, whatever. You know, it would be nice if somebody liked this video or subscribe to my channel even. That's cool. In any case, thanks a lot for watching, and I wish you well for the not too distant future until we meet again on my channel, hopefully. Okay, thanks a lot, guys, and bye.